Well, guys, we don't have a Descendants movie this year, but don't worry about it because Disney Channel still has us covered in terms of absolutely amazing musicals. Hey guys, it's Kevin again, the Murphy guys. I'm reviewing. This is a movie that I figured I might as well watch. I'm sure not a lot of you care about this movie. Some of you might not have even heard about this movie, but you know what? I figured I've reviewed a lot of Disney Channel movies on this channel. I reviewed both the Teen Beach films, I reviewed both the Descendants films. I might as well take a look at the latest Disney Channel musical masterpiece known as Zombies. And what Zombies is essentially about is we center on Seabrook High School, and basically this is a school in which it is divided between the normals and the zombies. These two do not get along very much at all. They are very much against each other. The humans are terrified of the zombies are terrified of the humans, vice versa, basically. But then along comes this girl, Addison, who basically takes a liking to one of the zombies, Zed, and basically from there, she wants to do as she can to maybe make a change, maybe start to include the zombies more, and maybe convince everyone that the zombies aren't as bad as everyone seems to think they are, and that's really all I'm gonna say. So zombies in general, obviously, I was not looking forward to this movie. I mean, there was a time where I did enjoy Disney Channel movies, I will definitely say that. There was a time where all I liked was Disney Channel and Nickelodeon, but especially lately, they really have been going downhill. Descendants especially has been such a low point, I think, for this channel. They're just so uninspired, they're so formulaic, and I really had no expectations for this except negative ones. Like there really wasn't much hope, honestly, especially given how the last ones turned out. There really was not much hope for this movie. I didn't really see a lot of promotion for this movie. Again, I don't watch Disney Channel anymore. I haven't watched Disney Channel since Girl Meets World was canceled, but you know, just in general, I really do not have much hope, and it sucks. Obviously, it sucks. Zombies is, in fact, another awful Disney Channel movie, but it is a little bit more enjoyably bad than some of the other ones have been, and we're going to get into that right now, starting off with the cast. And look, I will say this. The acting in this movie, it's not great. It's definitely not great, but it is a little bit better than some of the other, performances I've seen in some Disney Channel movies. I don't think the acting here was honestly all that bad. Some of them, yes, they were really bad, but specifically Meg Donnelly really impressed me here as a character of Addison. Her character we'll get to a little bit later, but I thought she was really good here. She's very likable in the role. She's got a lot of spunk and a lot of timing and things like that, and you genuinely do believe that she cares about Zed. You genuinely do care that you do believe that she cares about these zombies, and she does a pretty good job in her role. Scenes that might have come across as cringy, I think were a little bit, heightened by her acting ability. She clearly does have talent. I've heard she's really great on the show American Housewife, and you can definitely tell that she really is a very experienced actress. I think she definitely does have major chops as one, and like I said, I think she really did save this movie from being the utter train wreck that it could have been. Milo Manheim, on the other hand, no, this guy is awful. I understand that he's playing a zombie who acts very differently and has a certain way of thinking, but this guy is almost completely emotionless. Anytime he's supposed to be upset, he's like, no, no, Addison, don't do this. No, like it's the most wooden delivery you could possibly think of. And I don't know if it's a combination of, oh, he's just a bad actor, or if he just didn't give a shit. Honestly, I don't really know which one it is, but he really is pretty bad here. Surprisingly, though, their chemistry in this movie isn't really all that bad. I did actually buy into their chemistry a little bit. I thought there was definitely something there. Again, I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but I did legitimately think there was something there. I did think they overall worked well together, and again, they do save this movie from being the shitfest that I think it really could have been. The rest of the cast here, no. There's really no one here who's that great. Trevor Tordjman, let's talk about the character of Bucky. This is one of the funniest characters I've seen in Disney Channel movie in a while, and not for the right reasons. This guy, he's obsessed with cheerleading. Like, all that matters to him is being a cheerleader and being the best cheerleader ever. There's literally a scene where he, like, prays to the cheerleading gods. This guy's awful. He's so awful, though, that you can't help but watch him and just love every ounce of what he's doing because he's just so enjoyably awful. I don't know what it is about him, but there's just something endearing about how awful he is in this movie. I really don't know what it is, but it's one of those things where, yes, he was really bad, but I also couldn't wait for him to come on screen because he was just so terrible in his role, and like I said, he was fun to watch here. Kylee Russell as Eliza, she plays her part pretty well. We'll get to her character in a little bit. And finally, Carla Jeffery as Bree. Not really much for her to do either. The cast here, they're serviceable. They're better than I could have, better than I thought they were going to be, especially because these are very, like, D-list actors who just aren't very well known at all. And that's really all there is to say about them, honestly. So now let's get to the thing that I think really brings this down, which is the directing and the writing, but especially the directing. The directing is easily the worst thing about this movie. Like I said, the acting here really isn't that bad, but the directing really brings this down. The directing, I think, is some of the most atrocious I have seen in any of these Disney Channel movies, to be honest with you, because here's the thing. As much as I have ranted about Descendants, and believe me, you guys know how much I hate those movies, especially the first one, that at least has an established tone. That at least does have some sort of style. This doesn't know what it wants to be. Like, it's so confused as to what it wants to be. Is it trying to be a romance film between Addison and Zed? Something along the lines like West Side Story or Romeo and Juliet? Is it trying to be just a little fun high school comedy? You know, is that all it's trying to be? Is it trying to be some sort of social commentary on race and, police brutality? I'm not joking. There are actual parallels to that in this movie. I can't believe I'm actually saying that in Disney Channel movie, but they really do try to push for that message, and it's really dumb, honestly. Is it trying to be a musical? I mean, it has no idea what it wants to be, and none of these tones feel realized. All the humor falls flat. All the dramatic moments feel flat, and again, it's because the movie just does not have an established tone. They're just jumbling through tones in each scene. There are horror elements to some scenes. There are comedy elements. It does not know what it wants to be. It's very jumbled, and it just doesn't work at all, and it's unfortunate because the director here is actually kind of competent. He did the first two Teen Beach movies, which I know I'm in an unpopular opinion, but I actually enjoy those movies, particularly the second one. The second one, I think, is one of the best Disney Channel movies I've seen, honestly, especially in the past several years. It's a really well-done movie, for sure. And it just seemed like he didn't really know what he wanted this movie to be, and it just didn't really work overall. The writing here, on the other hand, is also really, really bad. There's so much stuff I could get into with the writing. Let me just say right off the bat, this is a movie where if you try to think too hard and long about it, you're gonna fucking hate this movie because there are so many things that don't make sense. Right off the bat, the movie is supposed to have these two groups divided. Like, in the beginning of the movie, you see that they're separated by this gate. There's, like, the humans on one side and the zombies on the other. But then in the movie, we see that the zombies are interspliced with the humans. And if it really was that easy, what's even the point of the gate? I mean, just in general, that didn't make sense to me. There's a whole plot point, and I'm not joking, this is a legit plot point. There is a plot point in this movie involving Addison, and the fact that her hair is actually a wig, and for some reason, because of the fact that she's a cheerleader, this is the only way she's going to be accepted by wearing this wig. It's really dumb. It makes no sense. They bring it up way too much. Like, you think it's gonna be one of those things they bring up once and then never bring up again? No, this is a legit plot point in the movie. This actually is one of the biggest things about her character, and it's hilarious, honestly. I couldn't believe how many times they kept bringing up her wig. I'm like, is this really that big of a deal when you think about it? It's really dumb overall. Also, the cheerleading stuff in this movie, they take the cheerleading stuff so seriously here. Like, everything is just building on, I gotta be a cheerleader, I gotta be a cheerleader. Like, Addison's just so set on it. She apparently has nothing else good in her life, nothing else to stand for, except being a cheerleader. And she can't accept that there's any other faith out there for her except for being a cheerleader. And just seeing how passionate these people are, it's at the same time really sad, but also really hilarious just how passionate they are about it. I mean, I understand, obviously, they love what they're doing, but they treat cheerleading like it's the rest of their lives, honestly. It's really funny to watch. Same with the football team in this movie. Actually, the football team, in general, as much as that is a focus here where, it is focusing on Zed being in the football team, the football coach, on the other hand, could not give less of a shit. There's literally a scene where he tells all of the players to just try losing better. Like, he literally says that because they're a really bad team and he can see that they're not doing well. So his big motivational speech is to just lose better. That's the kind of movie we're dealing with here. It's really ridiculous overall. I really could not tell what they were trying to do here. And again, the message doesn't make sense because of the fact that the movie's all about accepting these zombies for who they are, yet the entire movie, Addison is wearing this wig and she wants to just keep herself in this specific way. Now, I'm not going to say what ends up happening in the movie, but it didn't make sense overall. I could not tell what they were trying to do. Also, if you guys can't tell, this is obviously a modern-day version of Romeo and Juliet or West Side Story, and it's very forced. The romance stuff really doesn't work at all. Besides the fact the actors do have believable chemistry, it just feels so shoehorned in. There's really nothing that they do with this romance. You've seen this a million times before. Her parents don't approve of him being a zombie. There's a scene where he's literally able to mask himself so he's not a zombie. It's just really ridiculous overall. Like I said, you've seen it a million times before. There's really nothing else to say about that. Also, let's talk about the side characters, because the side characters in this movie are not side characters. Specifically, the character of Eliza. I mean, talk about the definition of just a completely wasted character. This character, Eliza, makes no fucking sense whatsoever. She's supposed to be, like, the best friend to Zed, and she has next to nothing to do, except for, like, one scene in the film. Other than that, there's nothing for her to do here. She's billed as, like, the fourth main character in this movie. There's, like, nothing for her to do. It's really unfortunate overall. She's got, like I said, nothing to do here, and yeah, so that really didn't work for me. Also, there is this character in the movie who, again, there's another thing that doesn't make sense, where there's this character named Bonzo, and the whole movie he's speaking in zombie, and for some reason the other characters don't. Again, it's another one of those things where if you question it too hard and if you sit on it for too long, you're just going to hate this movie that much more, so it's best to ignore it. The movie's not going to address it. It's something that did bother me, but I just kind of accepted the fact the movie was never going to address it and just kind of moved on from there. So, again, that really doesn't make any sense whatsoever. The cinematography here, let's talk about it, because, again, I've said enough about the writing. It sucks, okay? It's awful. The dialogue's awful. The message is awful. There's a shoehorned subplot involving police brutality that doesn't make any sense. I don't know what that was doing in a Disney Channel movie, but they literally try to shoehorn this in here, and it just doesn't work at all. I understand, social issues, but a Disney Channel movie is not really the ideal medium for it, honestly. There are better outlets to cover a story like that. A Disney Channel movie is definitely not one of them. The cinematography here, it's whatever, honestly. I did think the contrast was good, the green and the pink. I did think the contrast was good overall. It does feel very style over substance, though, at points. It's very on the nose. It's not really, it's very in your face, and it just does not work at all. However, that's not the most baffling thing about this movie, because again, the directing and the writing, it's really not good. The thing that's most baffling about it, and the thing that would make me give this movie a pass, is if it wasn't a musical, but it is. And to be honest with you, I don't really have any earthly idea why, because again, at least with High School Musical, Descendants, Camp Rock, yeah, I can see those as musicals. There is nothing in this movie that tells me, yeah, that should be a musical. No one in this movie is involved in any kind of music. No one in this movie is interested in any kind of music. I don't know why this is a musical. The only reason I think they did that is because Disney Channel thought, oh, hey, Descendants was really successful, and we made a lot of money with that, and people really love it. Let's just cash in on that, and let's just make it a musical so people will actually want to watch this movie, and they'll gravitate towards it because it's a musical. And again, I don't know why it's a musical. The musical numbers are so forgettable, but not just forgettable, they just feel so shoehorned shoehorned in, and none of the musical numbers feel like they need to be in this movie. You could honestly cut every single one of them out, and the movie would be exactly the same, except for, like, one musical number, which is, like, the turning point in the movie. It gets all, like, dramatic, and it's honestly really funny. Especially this one direction it takes honestly did have me dying a little bit. Other than that, you could just cut the musical numbers out, and I think the movie would be exactly the same. There really is no reason for them to be in here. It just feels like padding, and it just kind of feels like they're there because they don't have much of a story to tell. It's like they didn't really have anything to begin with, so they just shoved these musical numbers in here so the movie could be, you know, movie length, you know, because if not, I think the movie would be like 40 minutes. I'm not joking. I mean, the musical numbers take up a large portion of this movie, and at no point do they actually feel integral to the plot. They just kind of feel like they were shoved in there, and it just doesn't work at all. The editing is very choppy here. It just, again, it's very haphazard. It doesn't know what it wants to be. It's just not very well edited at all. Zombies in general is a complete mess, honestly, guys. You guys expected me to say that, though. It has no idea what it wants to be. It's got some surprisingly competent acting, and it does have, I guess, semi-good ideas in there, but doesn't really amount to much of anything. It's got some really out-of-place musical numbers, and just in general, it's another really formulaic Disney Channel movie you've seen many times before. There's really nothing new or different about it. It's just a really dumb movie, but it is a film that has enough dumb stuff in there, like, for example, the Bucky character or some really cheesy dialogue, that it is enjoyably bad. Like, you can watch this movie, and I don't think you're gonna hate yourself. I think you're gonna have a good time laughing at how dumb it really is and how ridiculous it really is, because it really is a ridiculous film all around. And I am gonna give Zombies, because of that, overall a D+. So over, guys, to my review of Zombies. Let me know what you guys thought of this movie overall. Left your thoughts on it. Like I said, it's not a good movie in any sense of the word, but if it weren't, but honestly, because of the really dumb, you know, scenes and the musical numbers and just a lot of ridiculous things, that's really what heightened my grade. Again, not a good movie at all, but something that I could probably watch again because it's just that enjoyably bad. But that's my review. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys in my next video, and I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.